You bring your phone everywhere. Work, school, the movies. Now you can bring it to an Xfinity store for an easy way to switch to Xfinity Mobile, a new kind of network designed to save you money. You can get up to 5 lines of talk and text included with Xfinity Internet at no extra cost, so all you pay for is data. It's never been easier to switch to Xfinity Mobile and keep the phone you love. Click here to see how. Sorry, I gotta take this. Restrictions apply. Limited to select mobile phones. Requires activation of a new line of Xfinity Mobile. Up to 5 devices per account. New Xfinity Internet customers limited to up to 2 lines pending activation of Internet service.
Blog Talk Radio.
To the war room, we got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the hot block commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Bold with the topic, sorta like the rebels when it's game time. They like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th or the war in Kuwait. It's the war room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated.
All right, now I'm thinking a little tech difficulties. How am I sounding, man? Mic check, mic check, check. Am I good? Because this is a big.
If this was the Super Bowl, we'd be throwing flags all over the field.
All right, that's what we doing. That's how they gonna do me right now. Big one.
All right. Forget them then. What up, everybody out there? Yo, War Room family. We got to start this show with gratitude. We want to thank you guys for joining us for the 400th time. You are once again live in that War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Devin McMillan, and I'm in the building with my brothers from other mothers. We got Jimmy the Blueprint. We got B. Austin. We got Fred Perdue, who's going to join us to put a final bow on Super Bowl 52. Look, man, the Philadelphia Eagles are finally champions of the football world, and our city couldn't be more lit right now. Like I just said, Fred is with us. He's going to join us for final thoughts on Super Bowl 52. We're going to talk about what happened in the NBA trade deadline and whatever else, man, we get to this week. This is a very exciting hyper week. 400 shows is nothing to sneeze at, so we're going to get it going. So keep it locked right here to get in on the conversation. And make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 10 minutes when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. One last note before we get it started. During the week, when we're not live on the air, be sure to check out archive episodes of our show at warroomsports.com, the War Room Sports mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, and most other places you get your great podcasts. What up, bros? Fred, what's going on, man? You in the building. You know, I know this isn't, what you wanted to hear when we came on this week, man, but in the famous words of my homie Kevin Garnett, anything's possible! What's going on, good brother?
Man, I feel like you're reliving what I lived last year when my New England Patriots just completely came back from 25 points down against the Falcons and found a way to win. I said the same exact thing. And
you know what, though? You know what? My bad. Finish what you're saying. I gotta let you say your hats off.
Hats off to to the Philadelphia Eagles. They played as close to a perfect game offensively as I've seen ever in a Super Bowl, and they did the exact thing they needed to happen. There were no sacks in this game until Brandon Graham made a play, and I can't be mad at no one. Malcolm Butler wouldn't have made that much of a difference. Quite honestly, neither team played any defense, and Tom Brady was great in his own right. But to be considered the GOAT, you can't fumble the football at the end of a game.
And I know. And listen. And one more time, because I know we've talked about it over the last 3 weeks. Even though, it's obvious, Fred's a Patriots fan, it's obvious he wasn't rooting for the Eagles. In this particular game, I still got to give Fred props for being one of the only people who believed in the Eagles from day one. There was no one, Fred and I repeat, no one that I heard, including myself, including B. Austin. Jimmy wasn't banging with football this season, so he didn't even make picks. There was no one that I knew who even had the Eagles going to the playoffs. And you were the only one in the beginning of the season said, look, y'all might be sleeping on this team. This is at least a playoff team. We'll see what happens once they get in.
Fred don't be believing that.
No hedging of bets. No hedging of bets at all.
I mean, that's what you say now.
None whatsoever.
This was Fred's genius pick. He's like, I'm going to pick the Eagles.
For me, when I made that pick, I just said I don't believe in Dallas. I definitely don't believe in Washington. And, I'm not enamored with wide receivers and running backs. At the end of the day,
I was about to say, because the Giants were supposed to be the ones, if anybody.
Everyone said Giants, and I'm like, y'all believe in Eli and a soft wide receiver who gets picked up like a rag doll in a commercial? Okay.
That commercial was like 8 months after the fact, though. But no. I gotta give you your props. Before we talk our trash to you. B. Austin's not even in the studio yet. But before we talk our trash to you, I at least had to give you props for at least picking them to go to the playoffs.
Thank you for that backhanded compliment. Thank you for that backhanded compliment.
So when Jason Kelsey was coming at the whole world's neck yesterday at the parade, he wasn't talking to you. So shout out for that. Jimmy, what's up, man? 400th episode. 400.
Yeah,
like 400.
That's crazy. That's a lot of work being put in.
Never missed a week. We can't say anymore that we never missed a Thursday. We've had, because we're actually doing this show a day late because of the Eagles parade, but we had some tech difficulties and we had to do it the next day, or we had some business trips to go on all together, so we had to do it like a day before, but we've never, ever missed a week. Sometimes we've done 2 shows in a week, like this week. We did the Super Bowl show on Sunday, and then, this one here. But it's crazy. Consistency is key. Consistency is king. So we're going to get into our final thoughts. We're not going to spend this whole show talking Super Bowl because this is 400. Jimmy didn't watch football this year. So we can't freeze the brother out on a big episode like this.
No, it's all great.
Once
I could slander people. Like, I'm good at slandering.
Oh, yeah. You always here for the slander, and I, I already know that. But, no, even after we get past the what happened in the game talk, you're still in the city. I just, you're like, you got your finger on the pulse of what's going on up there. I know I talked to you earlier before I even made my way up there, and you were talking about how, the city was actually the city of brotherly love this week. So we'll get to that in a few minutes as well. But Fred, let's get this stuff out of the way from game time. I had to get you with the open. We had to play the We Are the Champions. We had to let you know that. Let's talk about the coaching real quick, because this is a big question everybody's asking. And it's hard to even ask this question when, even on New England's side, they were a part of a record-breaking offensive Super Bowl. But is there any thought in your mind, any notion for any reason whatsoever that Doug Peterson may have outcoached Yoda in this one?
Only if it was – I don't think Malcolm Butler would have made a ton of difference, But to bench your starting corner because he smoked a little weed, and according to reports, and
allegedly, he denied that. He denied that, and the Patriots haven't come out to say he's lying.
They won't. They won't.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I figured they wouldn't even say
to really to go out that way, I thought Belichick was a little bit better than that one. I mean, I understand he was going to be an unrestricted free agent, and you wanted to shop him, and you didn't shop him, and he didn't play all that well throughout the season. But you don't. I mean, it's like coming in with a knife to a gunfight. You come with all of your weapons. You don't come with just a couple of your weapons. You come with everything you got. It's the Super Bowl. Find him, suspend him, cut him,
punish him later.
You do that later.
Like, give him less diamonds in his ring than everybody else. Like, do something. But
take a couple diamonds out. I don't know.
This is an all hands on deck situation.
I mean, do something different. But to take, it's like literally trying to box a guy with an arm behind your back. I mean, I don't think he would have made that much of a difference, but the way that secondary was getting torched, the way Eric Rowe was getting just abused, it was sad. And quite honestly, I think it's not necessarily getting out-coached. I think it's more so the Patriots finally succumb to all of the injuries that they sustained on defense. I mean, you lose pretty much every pass rusher you have, and you lose your leader on defense, and then you have a bunch of those same – and also over the years you've traded players away like Jamie Collins and Chandler Jones, so that's where your pass rush is gone. So maybe Belichick might want to – I never really go against him. I never really say much against him, but for the one or two times, this is one of the mistakes he's made. At some point in the Super Bowl, it's not just about the X's and O's. It is actually about the Jimmys and the Joes.
Right. B. Austin, do you think Doug? he had to announce his presence. B. Austin, the champ. Well, first of all, welcome, champion. How are you, champion? Fred, that's what Dean Austin and I are we're gonna address ourselves as that for the foreseeable future. So
I'm glad you got to experience what we've been experiencing 5 times, but
No, but when you said earlier, like, this is like what you felt last year, I was like, nah, for Patriots fans, I think it's what they experienced, the first time around. Not even just comparing it because it was their first, this is our first, but the fact, of how it was done. You come into the game pretty much an underdog, not many people giving you a chance, and you came into a game with a backup quarterback, even though the Patriots at the time had the choice to go back to their quarterback, but they decided not to. So it's kind of a similar story in that regard. Now, I don't know if the story is going to play out the same way after, in a
I don't mean to cut
type
you
of
off,
way.
But Austin sounds like he's underneath all of the confetti that fell back in Minnesota.
He's right, just trying. What, B, question,
yes, sir.
What I just asked Fred, do you think Doug Peterson out-coached Yoda in this one? Or was it just, a matter of how it was executed?
I think that it's disrespectful to Yoda to refer to Bill Belichick as Yoda at this particular time. He is. I'm not a prisoner at the moment. I still will give Belichick the respect of being one of the greatest football minds and coaches ever. But after that ass whooping to a Padawan that he just took, I cannot disrespect Yoda because I've never seen. See, I'm well versed in Star Wars canon, and I can honestly tell you that Yoda never took an ass whooping in his 900-year life. So I can't refer. And when you address me as the chief potentate fan of the Philadelphia Eagles world champion, first time, second time, third time, it doesn't matter, Fred. We are the world champions, man. You understand?
No, but for me, I'm gonna be Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100 with myself. Like I wouldn't say, like I wouldn't watch that and break it down and say, man, Belichick was like outcoached. He was thoroughly outcoached.
No.
I think the stuff that Doug Peterson did.
Fortune favored the aggressive. Fortune favored the aggressive.
He showed cojones in the way that he coached the game, but I don't think he was doing anything to like outsmart Belichick or anything like that. They just couldn't stop the Eagles' offense.
Fred,
the Eagles' defense couldn't stop the Patriots' offense. It almost really came down to the first team to make a mistake is going to lose this game, and it really that's how it played out.
I'm going to keep it a beam to an analogy that you and I can relate to, Fred. We didn't grow up together. We wasn't in college together, so I don't know. But we've been in situations where it's not so much that I fear an ass whooping, it's that I look at a guy and I know that he can whoop my ass if I give him the opportunity. So I got to swing often and early and just keep swinging. Like I can't give him an opportunity to do what he does best because I know this guy has a reputation. So I got to whoop his ass early and often because if I don't,
it's over.
If I don't.
No, that's actually a great analogy, though, because you hear all the time in these situations when leading up to Super Bowls, and you do hear it all the time because the Patriots are in the damn game all the time. You hear things like, you know, a lot of teams lose to them because of kind of the fear factor. Like they're trying to play it too safe.
It's real.
And that's when you get to a situation where if you get into a shootout like the Eagles and the Patriots did, a lot of other teams trade 3 for 7, and we all know math. You can't win the game that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Doug Peterson I'm not settling for 3.
What you're talking about, it happened. It's something different even than that, Dev. You see teams go through the entire season winning a certain way, and then they get in the Super Bowl and they face that juggernaut and they start bitching and they don't even play their game.
Oh, you're talking about Minnesota.
They get conservative. Well, that's the latest iteration, but I'm talking through history. Teams have listen. I'm not one of those guys. I'm a devout Philadelphia sports fan. No one is happier than me that we've won the Super Bowl. But I'm going to keep it a million and always be honest. Like the New England Patriots are a juggernaut historically speaking.
There became a point in that game, B, where we just could not stop them.
Dog. There became a point in that game where I said, "Oh God, we're about to lose." When they took the lead, I had that sinking pit in my feelings.
You had that Philly. You had You had that. You don't have to say exactly what it is. Just say, "I had that Philly feeling." When they took the lead. I know. We've watched thousands of games together. You had that Philly feeling.
We had that Philly feeling. But you know what? It wasn't like that in 2004 because one singular person lost the game.
Well, in 2004, you had that feeling before the game started. This ain't going to turn out well.
Fred, in 2004, we were kicking y'all ass. There were 52 men on our roster that was kicking y'all ass. And there was one guy. There was one
Jimmy,
dude.
this boy gonna take shots till that boy McNabb die, yo.
Absolutely. I'm gonna try to whip his ass.
Gotcha. I mean, see, on the flip side, for me, when I look at, I said when there were key moments in this game, I said, okay, right before halftime, they don't score before halftime. That's their MO. If they get the ball in the second half, they want to score at least 3 points. 3 points sets it up where, okay, that's a 4. If you score those 3 points. You have at least a chance, especially how they went right down the field to start the second half. I also looked at they looked.
It was Gronk time.
I also got
it was Gronk time after halftime.
When they gronked us, when y'all gronked us out, I was like,
4 out of 5 plays.
We can't guard, dude, yo. We can't guard that.
But you know what, Fred?
Our best defender on there. I was like, yo.
The same MO that the Patriots have had for the past decade. We at least had that same thing for this year. The Eagles did a lot of not even just the Eagles did a lot of scoring on aggressive play calling right before halves of this season, whether we were getting the ball back or not. And of course that's the Patriots MO. So when they went right down the field and scored,
they were matching.
Like B also said, Doug Peterson didn't. Andy Reid would have got the kickoff back and we would have kneeled on the ball until halftime.
Yo,
Doug Peterson said, we're going to go down here and get something. And he went down there and scored. Andy would have kneeled on it and said, look, we're going to just try this again in the second half.
And what made me
as is Devin, you an Andy Reid fan too. Yo, Andy Reid would have knelt on the ball about 7 times in that game and messed up the clock. Andy would have got beat.
If Andy was there, there would have been way more than one punt in that game. And, sometimes, coaches got to play it smart, but
Andy will punt on third down.
When Doug Peterson is aggressive, like on fourth downs, it's the type of fourth down where you're saying, okay, fans are always hyped to go for it. Well, most of the time. Sometimes fans are like, oh, this is stupid.
It ain't Ron Rivera. Rivera.
I'm about to say, it's not one of those things where he's going for it for fourth downs in a situation. If he doesn't make it, you can be like, oh, man, he's the stupidest dude. It's one of those situations where you either got to be with him, you know what I'm saying, and they don't get it. You still got to be like, all right, I like the aggression. He tried to do something that I would have done in that situation. Sometimes it's just dumb. You're on your own 20 and fourth down and you're going for it. Like, it's just dumb.
What really kind of irked me a little was, and it's kind of irked me over the last 2 seasons, is the play of Steven Gostkowski, the Patriots kicker, leaving 4 points on the board. You left 4 points on the board, and then the offense leaves another 3 points at least on the board going into the half. So that turns this game almost – that's a 1-point game. So instead of having to drive the field with a minute or so on the clock, after they still get the ball back, with a minute and some change left, you can go down the field and get a field goal versus having to throw up a Hail Mary. And a Hail Mary that was catchable.
Which is even, after everything that transpired at the end of that game, it's still silly. And you got to give Tom Brady his props. It's still silly that they were even in position to throw a Hail Mary, to even try to tie the game up, because that drive – didn't start out going too well. First of all, the kickoff, they tried to do that crazy stuff, and they lost yards on the kickoff. So they got to start, it's a 90-something yard drive to begin with. They go, like, first 3 plays were terrible. The Eagles had them down to one more play, and the Super Bowl is won. Of course, Brady gets the first down. Then, of course, he gronks us, like, to damn near midfield. And I'm like, yo, seriously? Like, we had the Super Bowl wrapped up seemingly 2 minutes ago, and they're about to throw a Hail Mary and try to tie the game up with a 2-point conversion.
When the ball's in the air and we know it's going to Gronk, how worried are you? And does time slow down like in the movies for you?
Of course you're worried, because
no one can check it in the NFL. You know what, Fred? See, hey, B, this is where we have to, again, bring Fred into the mind of a Philadelphia fan. Philly, that's the thing. We're not terrible as a sports city. Like, we're a great sports city. Like, the team win, they just don't win championships. Like, we're always the bridesmaid, never the bride. So, no, Fred, in this situation, this is what happens. You think, because when we get in this situation, it's like, okay, especially at the end of something, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Like, I have people now where, because, they've been showing the replay of this game on NFL Network for the past week. They even have video boards all along the parade route, and we're showing the game, early in the day just to waste some time while people were standing out there in the cold. So everybody's cheering the game as if they're watching it for the first time. And I had somebody in my family actually tell me, like, look, when it comes on, he said, I watch it every time it comes on because, first of all, we're from Philly. It's still hard to believe that this happened. And he was like, if I don't watch it, I think something different's going to happen. And then they're going to tell me that we didn't win the game. He's like, if I don't watch it every time they replay, and this is my cousin Mike, shout out to him. He said, if I don't watch it every time they replay it, Gronk is probably going to catch the damn Hail Mary. They're going to get the 2-point conversion, tie it up, go to overtime, and beat
To summarize that and keep it all the way 100, what he really is saying,
the Philly.
We think we're all Philly fans think they're going to wake up, and it didn't really happen.
So I'm not alone in the fact that Atlanta the Atlanta and New England game, I watched it enough to know. I was like, this can't be what we, what it happened. You wake up
on the low, Atlanta losing Atlanta has a similar
Atlanta's like
vibe.
us. Yeah.
Atlanta's like that's what Atlanta's like us.
But
and
25 points in the Super Bowl is different, though. That's a little. That's a
But the thing is, Fred, I guarantee you, and I don't know this for sure because I haven't spoken to a lot of Atlanta fans about it, but I know the history of that team. There was once, on this show where they had, we had running jokes about Atlanta choking, as much as they do. So knowing some Atlanta fans that I didn't end up talking to, I guarantee you they had the same feeling as the game started to, the momentum started to slip out of their control. I'm sure a lot of those people were like, here we go. It's going to happen again.
We played Atlanta in the NFC chip game, and I felt 1,000,000% confident. I said, there's no way they can beat us. They're Atlanta. It doesn't matter.
And there's no way Eagles fans need to feel 1,000,000% confident about anything.
I will say the one thing I did take away from this game and from the Eagles' perspective, and I'm the resident college football guy. So what I took away was play calling. And I said, man, Doug Peterson, he called a magnificent game that every college coach or every college program in the country is like, can we offer you a contract, whatever it costs? How many? I don't want to say slavery dollars. I might get in trouble. But how much money do we need to offer you? How many scholarships do we have to offer you? And how much coonery do we have to do to get you here? And how much what do we have to do to get this here?
Because Doug ain't leaving.
Some of those calls, like the jet sweep to Aguilar, or using Trey Burton as a almost like a reverse pass, and using the same play the Patriots used, and actually using a former college quarterback who was more of a wildcat guy.
Because he mastered his roster, and he understood exactly what he had on his roster and maximized every ounce of potential.
I read a story where they were saying the long snapper, Lovato, I forgot his first name, he said, we never practiced that in the walkthrough at the stadium. They were still nervous about the Patriots having somebody there to look at plays. He said we never practiced. He actually said their stadium walkthroughs, like their public walkthroughs, were totally different from the game plan. They said they ran none of that stuff in the game. Yeah, so it's kind of like, the game outside of the game. That's stuff that you got to do these days because you never know. Everything is just too public these days. I think Fred went back outside to the wind tunnel.
Fred is outside. Fred is outside cutting grass with Mexican. Fred, I'll keep it a million, man. Listen, man, the Patriots, man, salute to them because they are one of the greatest franchises ever. But it just boils down to
it's like I'm not like everybody else in the world with the success breeding contempt and all that stuff. Like I don't hate the Patriots. They're still Eagles fans. I saw a photo today where there was somebody, I guess, living in Philly that's a Patriots fan. The back of the car said Patriots. They had the logo. No, the front windshield, the top said Patriots. They had the Patriot logo on the back.
Man, they need to leave that.
They vandalized the dude's car. They put green paint all on the outside and the inside because they broke the sunroof to get to the top. Like that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff kind of like pisses me off because first of all, you won the game. Like, I don't even condone it if you lose, but at least if you lose, I have a reason to believe, to understand why you were angry.
You were mad.
But you won the game. Like, so what was the point of that?
Just wanted to be
but I'm saying all that to say, like, I'm not a Patriot hater like that, but it's kind of poetic justice that they win their first one against them because, it's kind of a rematch. I'm pretty sure the Patriots don't look at it as a rematch because they won the damn game back in Super Bowl 39. But for Philly, that's like a sore spot in the team's history. So it's like, if you're going to do it, at least do it against that same dynasty, no matter how many years later it is. They still have the two cogs that are the main pieces in that dynasty. So it was kind of poetic justice to kind of get a sense of revenge for us. Like for them, it's just another Super Bowl. But Yeah, it definitely felt better than having to go against Jacksonville. Jacksonville could have been a story too, because we could have been mad at them because we lost the Super Bowl in their city, so we're gonna take it out on y'all.
Take it out on them. Fred, what's the scuttlebutt on Malcolm Butler, man?
We were talking about that a little bit earlier.
I gotta know, man. What's up with your man Bill Belichick? Why he cheat that young man out of Fred? They kidnapped Fred.
I saw.
Go ahead,
where Fred is? He's still here. I see him on the switchboard. Anyway, I saw an angle today where they were still trying to, slurp Bill Belichick and make it seem like it was another genius move of his to sit the dude down because he was doing it to try to force the Eagles to throw more instead of having to yield to the Eagles' running game. So he put a corner in that we felt he was bigger, but he felt that we would think he was the weak link of the group, and it would force us to throw more. And he was waiting, expecting Foles to eventually make a mistake. I'm like, because he has history with that, with the whole Thurman Thomas thing when he was the defensive coordinator of the Giants, where he told his team, Thurman Thomas is going to get 100 yards today, and Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson was like, what? Like, we don't let nobody do that. But he was basically putting them in nickel and dime defenses early in the game because he felt that Thurman Thomas was less of a threat running the ball than catching it out of the backfield or them going to Lofton and Reed and all that kind of stuff. So he was going to kind of yield the running game to them so they wouldn't pass. Supposedly, this was him yielding the pass game to us so we wouldn't pound the Patriots with the running game. I think it's all hogwash, and they're just trying to – they trying to gulp the ball even when he loses. So I'm not really trying to hear it. But Fred talked about it earlier. He basically, he mentioned weed, even though Malcolm Butler has denied that there was any disciplinary troubles going on. For me, I think it was just a matter, even if it was disciplinary troubles, and Fred agreed, he was like, you need all hands on deck on the Super Bowl. You find a way to punish dude another time. So if it was disciplinary reasons, then it's just Bill Belichick's ego. And then somebody had the nerve, that I'm listening to somebody earlier in the week, they were like, is his ego really that big that he would, jeopardize the Super Bowl by not playing one of his best players on defense? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, well, if y'all didn't blow into his straw every day, maybe his head wouldn't inflate the way that it has inflated. I'm like, hell yeah, he has an ego. If y'all telling this man he's a genius and the greatest coach of all time on an everyday basis. Let me let Fred back on. So, yeah, hell yeah, Bill Belichick has an ego. And it's like, it's well-deserved. The ego comes from everybody jacking him all the time. Why wouldn't he have an ego?
He does. And when I look at Belichick, I say to myself, regardless of the issue, like I said, suspend him later, fine him later. Who cares? It's the Super Bowl. I guarantee if Tom Brady smokes marijuana, you're not benching Tom Brady.
You're not playing Brian Hoyer in the Super Bowl.
If Gronk goes out and gets wasted the night before, you're not benching Gronk. Heck, if Brandon Cooks does this, you're not doing it. But when you have factors like a contract coming up.
Speaking of Brandon Cooks, he wake up out of his coma yet?
Nah, he's still Undertaker took him away, bro. I'm serious. The Undertaker took him. Yeah.
Oh, did he make it? Did he survive? I didn't hear from Bill.
That was is it bad? The first thing I thought of was, and I'm not a huge wrestling kind of guy anymore, but when that hit happened, I just heard Undertaker music. The gong it was over with. It's rare you see.
I literally have heard nothing from Brandon Cooks after the Super Bowl. Like,
the only thing I've heard from Brandon Cooks is he liked an Instagram post from Tom Brady thanking the Eagles and thanking the fans for everything that's happened. And
for the concern? I'm definitely concerned.
That's the only thing I've seen from him.
And shout out to, I'm watching the monitor, Gabrielle Union looks ecstatic for Dwayne Wade. They got off the plane and she danced around. We're gonna talk about that later. We're gonna talk about whose call that was to get him back in Miami.
Can we send him back to Chicago? We don't want him back here.
All right, but yeah, prayers out to the homie Brandon Cooks, man. Like, cause he must be in like the extended concussion protocol when they don't even let you talk to the media. Because I haven't heard from Ball. I haven't heard from Ball since his spirit walked off the field.
Malcolm Jenkins solidified that hit, and that's going to be one of those highlights we see. I look at that hit almost like I thought, what I saw when I saw it? I had flashbacks of Sean Taylor. That's really what I
know what, though, Fred? They don't even allow hits like that to be long-running highlights anymore. The league is a little soft these days.
Yeah. I attribute that to the spirit realm, gentlemen. And, Brian Dawkins going into the Hall of Fame is a spiritual experience.
Shout out to that.
And he may have had the opportunity to speak with that young man and inspire him, because that was Dawk-worthy. Shout
out to Dawk. God dog it. Let's move on fast because, I want to get into the aftermath. I want to talk to Jimmy about the city being lit in a minute. So the controversial catches. What were your thoughts on those two catches, Fred? Were they catches? Were they not?
They were catches, especially the Zach Ertz catch. Zach Ertz had 3 feet in. Zach Ertz put 3 feet down before he ever crossed the end zone line.
That's what I like. The Zach Ertz catch. I'm like, I don't even know why this is being reviewed more than 4 seconds. That's like obvious. He was a runner. Like this whole catch rule. If you don't like the rule, fine. If they change the rule, fine. But by the rule, that catch was easy to determine. And of course, Cowboy fans are trying to compare it to Dez. Not the same thing at all. Dez made a great catch in the air, came down. They're thinking because he took 2 or 3 steps when he came down, those weren't running steps. Those were stumbling to the ground because you caught the ball in midair. So that catch has to go all the way through the ground, and it did not. Zach Ertz caught the ball in stride, took 3 steps running forward, and then dove over the man once he was about to get tackled. He's a runner. So as soon as he crosses the plane, it doesn't matter what happens to the ball when he falls on the ground. You even said it was a catch. Now, if they called back the Corey Clement catch, I don't think I could have been mad about that. When he caught the ball, he got 2 feet down, but as the second foot came down and he got it in bounds, the ball did start to shift, and by the time he got control of the ball and the third foot down, he stepped on the line. So I guess what they're determining is it didn't shift enough for them to call it, to say he didn't have control. But that one, if that's reversed, I'm like, damn, there's really nothing I can say about that. But I tell you this, your man Nick Foles put that thing right in the basket with 3 defenders in the area.
Replays, though, we're trying to determine what a catch is and what a catch isn't. We get so caught up in the replay, in the moment of this replay. If I'm looking at everything frame to frame, we can say it's a catch and not a catch. But when we're looking at this thing real time, that Zach Ertz catch, it was a catch all day, every day, even on Sundays. I mean, it's literally, that was a catch. I can see that.
I mean, the people, we all complain about refs from time to time, but people don't understand how hard their job is. Because, first of all, they have to make the primary judgment in real time. So once you get to the replay, fans may think, oh, man, that's so questionable. I actually heard they're cheating for Philly now. I'm like, everybody in the world say they cheat for the Patriots. Now they wanted Philly to win. I heard this from Dallas fans, but I heard this.
Nobody wants Philadelphia to win.
So, exactly, right? But, so, in my opinion, since they got to make these calls in real time, that's when everything gets sticky, because I think if they say that pass was incomplete in real time, they probably would have kept it the same because they just couldn't make the judgment. That's what a lot of fans don't understand. If there's a reasonable doubt anywhere, then you cannot overturn a call unless you are 100% sure. So if they called it a touchdown in real time and then you go to the replay and you're saying, I'm not sure if it shifted enough, I'm not sure if it shifted before he got that third foot down, you can't overturn the call just because fans think, like, oh, that's not a catch. But they're going to revisit the rule. I personally don't think I'm fine with it. I think I just took a lot of time to try to understand it, and now I'm upset that I'm probably going to have to relearn a catch rule when they
what
change it
I
again.
don't and I've never liked is the people that make these rules have never really played a down of football in their life.
They don't know how to catch in the first place.
They don't know what it is. They don't know the proper technique to catch a football. They don't
Shout
know
out to
it.
my man Vic Montgomery. He probably made some of these rules. Shout out Vic. Hope you're listening. All right, so
he played flag football with a ball that had no hands. Like,
Real
he literally had no hands.
real quick, because we kind of know where this game was won and lost. No team played any defense, and like I said earlier, it kind of came down to the first team to make a damn mistake, and Brandon Graham finally got through for a sack. Next season, because now I'm hearing this on Philly radio, so excuse the excitement, excuse the prisoner of the moment thing, but people seem to think, man, they're in such a good place, they might be right back here next year. They are bringing back 20 of 22 starters. We don't really know how Carson Wentz is going to look, once he's back. We don't know the future of Nick Foles, whether they're going to strike while the iron's hot and get somebody, get something for him in a trade, and let him go out and spread his wings and get some money. We don't know how that's going to look. But where do you guys, very quickly, think the future lies for these two teams? Like, because I'm hearing in Philly, man, the Eagles could, they could possibly be in contention for the next 4. I'm like, oh God, here we go.
I got to take
like, you see when we won, B? We won when we were under the radar and people were doubting. Even fans, even ourselves.
Welcome to the world
now,
of expectations.
we can be in contention for the next 4.
This is
And then you
what
also had a prisoner of the moment who say, like, the Patriots could be over. I'm like, just because they lost doesn't mean it's over.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because this was completely, like, it was surreal to me, because I can think back to 2004. I know when the football team I root for is good. Like, I know when I can pick within a game, maybe 2 of where we're going to land. 2 is pretty big, but within a game where we're going to land talent-wise, provided no major injuries happen. I know when our roster is good. I was completely blindsided by this. I picked us to be 3rd in the division because I didn't pay enough attention to the fact that.
Sir. You should.
Well, let me explain.
Hey, I did too.
I didn't pay attention to the fact that the Giants invested nothing in their offensive line
of scrimmage,
and that their defense would lack dignity, because they have all the talent in the world on the Giants defense. Like, don't get it twisted.
And we also had to be fair. They had a ton of injuries. All that talent that we thought they had on offense, they all left early in the season.
As much as I knew that Dak Prescott was really isn't
Jerry Jones' own team?
No. You know what it was there? You know what it was
Dak
there?
G3.
I did believe in the Cowboys offensive line. So I thought they're going to duke it out for number 1. We may slide in this 2, but probably more than likely 3, right? So I just didn't see it coming, because the roster hasn't turned over or changed that much from last year, from the previous year. So I didn't see us doing this. Now, as far as will we return, there's a lot that has to happen positive. I will say we will win the division next year. We will be a serious playoff contender, but I would never go out on a limb and say we're going to return to the Super Bowl.
We're going to run off another one.
Factors, though, to go into that, because Aaron Rodgers, he wasn't there to be in your way.
Right, he'll be back.
So Atlanta, they weren't the same Atlanta team without Kyle Shanahan. Defensively, they weren't the same.
Oh, bro, don't even worry about it.
Don't fear them.
Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, the Rams are going to be a much better football team next year than they are this year.
The Rams scared me.
There you go, right there. And we disrespecting the Packers, because I ain't even gonna say the Packers. I'm gonna say what you said. I'm gonna say Aaron Rodgers and the Rams pose a threat.
Because it is Aaron Rodgers and the Rams.
Aaron Rodgers and the Rams pose a threat. Bottom line. The Patriots, come on. They'll be in the mix. Everybody knows they'll be in the mix. Every time they've lost a Super Bowl, everybody said the dynasty was over, and then they end up winning more Super Bowls afterwards. So ain't nobody trying to hit
lost the Super Bowl. I remember a time back in 2014 where they said the Chiefs, sky is falling after Monday Night Football, and Alex Smith put all these crazy numbers on us, and the Bengals did it too, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. The Bengals put it on us, and the Chiefs came. We destroyed the Chiefs, and you're down 10 to Seattle, and you find a way to come back. The sky was falling in the end again, and now the sky is falling again. Yet your quarterback went for 500 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interception.
Right.
And the
that
sky
don't seem 40-year-oldish to me. You know what I'm saying?
A 41-year-old quarterback.
There was a point where we couldn't stop the dude in this game.
Yeah, we there was a point the entire game we couldn't stop him until we got to him.
I don't know how much stake y'all put in Vegas, but Vegas don't believe the hype either because Vegas has the Patriots as the favorites to win the Super Bowl next year. They have the Eagles second on that list.
Carson Wentz is coming back.
And the funny part is the Eagles at this time last season were 40-1. If you just happen to be in Vegas and you threw something down on that, you got a lot of money this past Sunday. I heard a caller on a radio show that just said he put $20 down on the Eagles when they were 40-1 at this time last year, just because he says I'm a degenerate gambler. So at that point he probably threw 20 on the whole league, but that 20 on the Eagles made him a lot of money.
I don't want to take all the credit here because back on cover 2, I said the Eagles.
You believe? I get Fred.
I didn't say they would.
Fred looking for a Blumpkin, which we don't give Blumpkins other men.
All right, I gave him his props early in the show. Let's not go too far because he jumped ship in the playoffs though. He jumped ship in the playoffs.
I didn't say anything about as far as winning the Super Bowl. I just said this team.
You were on the Eagles. You were on the Eagles early, and you did go beyond the quarterback position, and you identified some of the talent that's on that roster. So I give you your kudos.
For me, kudos definitely goes to them just for picking them to even go to the playoffs. If you would have said they were going to the Super Bowl, I'd have just called you stupid and just cut your mic off.
No, I'm not that crazy.
Ain't nobody out there that's just that kind of swami. Unless they root for the Philadelphia Eagles and they're just, delusional. But they don't swami like that out there.
In that position to start the season, I probably wouldn't have picked them. But because I believe in Carson Wentz, I think Carson Wentz has greatness regardless of injury. I think he
Amen. Talk to him, Fred. Tell him.
Fred Harry Wentz is the guy. I've gone as far as saying he's going to be better than Mariota, Winston, and Carr. So if I'm willing
bring
to
up
say
Mariota in the same sentence with Carson.
I was about to say, why are you bringing some of them dudes up? But
trash turducken. I was early.
We working on Andrew Luck right now. We ain't working on Mariota. Can we get him better than Luck? I'm not even sold on that yet, but it might be
better than Luck now. That's the thing.
No, dog. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, but for me, I'm just not going to be unfair to Luck because it's we haven't seen the dude for a year. I don't even know.
I'm slightly hesitant.
Andrew Luck plays behind the same offensive line that David Carr played behind in Houston. He just my man.
But you're not lying. You're not telling any lies though.
He's getting DDT'd. They becoming defensive linemen be coming off the top turnbuckle, and
they're showing these catches against each other now, fellas. And there's a lot of things where I'm like, why do people think these are similar? First of all, Jesse James' knee was down.
Yeah,
so did he? I didn't see if he was touched first, but his knee was down.
The Dez Bryant, I could almost say maybe that would be. I can make a case for Dez Bryant, but I can't make a case for for Jesse James.
I can't make a case for Dez just because a stumble to the ground is not a run.
He's
not a
That's
runner.
not a football move.
He was stumbling to the ground.
He's down
I give him props for going up and getting it because that's what Dez does, but he did not.
But Zach
follow that
Ertz
all the way.
completed the catch.
That's what Dez used to
3
do.
steps and became a runner across the plane. The ground caused the ball to move out of his hand.
Yeah, I'm watching Zach's now, and I'm sitting here like, why did they even have to review? Like, why did that take so long? The dude took 3 steps forward after catching the slant and then dove. It was all under control until the ball popped out. That would have been a fumble had it not been the goal line. Say if he was just trying to get a first down. It would have absolutely been a fumble. Definitely would have been a fumble.
I'd even say the NFL loves. I think with this whole replay thing, I almost want to say the NFL likes the shock factor. They like this suspense factor. We got to replay every big play because if we don't, we got to have something for people to tweet about. We got to have something to go on in social media. It's football.
All right, well let's get Jimmy in here because the city has been lit ever since the moment that it happened. You know, everybody showed how people just took to the streets on Sunday night. Jimmy said he heard people letting the blicky fly as soon as, because he wasn't watching, so I guess he knew when the game was over and what happened because the blicky started flying outside. Jim, you said it's like been the friendliest week in Philadelphia history?
Yeah.
I know it was friendly going up to the Super Bowl, but how's it been this week?
Here's the thing, right? So I didn't watch anything at all. I didn't watch the game at all, but it wasn't even just the blickies. Like, people even on my block were in the streets crying. So, like, you hear people just outside screaming and literally in tears. And I was like, oh, shit, they must have won. Like, and it was just interesting to see because, like, the younger generation.
But you know what, Jim? That's the part that the media hasn't been showing. That's the narrative that they're not showing. And that was probably most Philadelphia fans.
It's funny because what I noticed is, like,
I let the eye sweats loose.
I'm in these streets, so, like, what I noticed was it kind of breaks down to an age situation. Like, a lot of the younger kids don't recognize the struggle or just in general, like, what
age
some of the
and
older
something
fans
else
went through. So anybody who is, I say, 30 and above, like, we're just, like, in disbelief and literally, like, in tears. And the younger generation just act like this is what's supposed to happen. Like, they was like...
Right.
And
So
it's funny because even outside of this, right?
Like, I heard people, Jimmy, that... Oh, go ahead, my bad.
No, I was just saying that outside of this, like, the city itself is kind of, like, going through a renaissance in terms of arts, culture, with the Pope coming here, the attention the city is getting.
Renaissance.
It's funny because, and I guess you can probably relate to
Made in America.
well.
They don't know that we're
America.
underdogs as a city.
So to them, this is what Philly is. It's supposed to be this way. Like, they don't. Then with, like, Joel Embiid and then them bringing life to the city, they just expect all these great things because that's kind of.
They don't understand the
they don't
New
know
York
there was no Roots Picnic.
inferiority complex with all the other big cities.
Like, think about it. Like, the Roots Picnic and Made in America is fairly new. The Pope coming here was a big deal. To them, it's like, this is Philly. We're supposed to have all these great things. And you see some of the older generation like, yo, what's going on in my city in front of my face? So,
right. Like, this is all crazy to us. Like, wow, they doing that in Philly? They doing that in Philly? Like, Philly coming up. They don't think Philly's on the come up. They think Philly's been there.
Yeah.
They just don't understand. Like, we've had that as a city, like an inferiority complex to the other big cities because, their teams win championships. They get all the big events. They get, I understand exactly what you're saying.
It's interesting to see. But, someone pointed out something to me because I was talking to someone else about it. I was like, it's funny how these young kids just act like, he was like, well, imagine being a 20-year-old in Boston. He was like, you think that everything's supposed to be gravy. Like, because we also recognize that the Red Sox used to be, like, losers. We think that the Patriots used to be losers. The Celtics have, like,
the
crazy
Celtics
runs. But over the last,
Celtics,
20, 30 years old in Boston, like, you've seen your basketball team, your football team, your hockey team.
You've seen all 4 teams win multiple championships.
All
4 of them. You've seen all 4 win multiple, not just one.
Well, the Celtics won one. They went to 2.
Well, yeah, they did. I forgot they one of them teams. We've been here before. We've been here before, but they only won one.
But they're right back in the mix again. But just imagine being young, like, you know.
But you know what, though, Jim? When they witness one, then they start acting like they feel a connection to the other 15 or however many they got.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So they act like that's what was supposed to happen. Oh, you know, this is what we do. You ain't never seen that
so
before.
I mean, it's just interesting to see, like, within the city, the energy, because, like, it's just a different energy depending upon the age bracket of the person that you see. But it's definitely been a lot happier, people speaking to each other. It's to the point where I start getting nervous because I'm not used to people. Like, Philly's a big city. Like, we just don't speak to each other. Now, Fred, I know you're from Florida, and I've been down south. It's a little different. Down south, everybody
Southern
speaks
hospitality is different.
Yeah, y'all got something different.
Yeah.
But up north, we don't speak to each other. We look at each other like, yo, who you? Why you looking at me?
What he about to do?
Yeah. But it's kind of like, it's been. I feel like I'm in Georgia right now or something.
Yeah, so it's like, the narrative that the media is trying to portray, because they already give us this trumped up, worst fans ever type thing.
Sure, you want to use that word, trumped up? But okay. No.
Hey, it fits. It actually fits now. But so they keep showing the same 3, 4, 5 incidents, and they keep replaying it, looping it, running it back and forth. I even go out the next 2 days, and people are talking to me like, yeah, they destroyed your city. Like, no, they didn't. They broke an awning at a hotel. They broke a street light. They broke some windows at Macy's. Yo, you can go look up articles of all these cities that you swear have the greatest fans in the world totally destroying their city, win or lose. Actually, there were more arrests made in Boston this week than there was in Philly. But they want to push this narrative. They, Philly won. We got to show you how terrible they are.
Like, one of the guys they arrested, and the thing is, it was those incidents were within a close proximity to each other, so it wasn't all over the city things. It wasn't even like that. And another thing that's interesting is these are people that aren't even from Philadelphia. They're actually some of the more affluent people who from the suburbs of Philadelphia who come into the city. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, right? A lot of Eagles fans are from the suburbs, right? Because tickets are high as hell for one. So, but it's
the regional rail and Amtrak was lit yesterday.
It's these one percenters that come in and get drunk and act a fool, and then they try to say like, look at these savages in Philadelphia when there's nothing like that. And it's just, but that's the narrative they want to paint. But it's funny because on one part, it's kind of like that's a lie, but on the other part though, I think some people I talk to they embrace it. They embrace the fact that everyone thinks that we're crazy.
All right, I mean, but that's the people who act like say the people who were throwing beers at the Minnesota Vikings fans as they walk by. Those are the people, and a lot of them are young, and, excuse me if you're listening and you don't believe in this, a lot of them are white, and they want to perpetuate the myth. Like, they like having the reputation, so when you come there, they're going to act like that, and then they're going to go back, get straight A's wherever they go to college and all that kind of stuff, and be dudes who really can't fight or nothing like that. But they're going to act like, quote-unquote, Philly fans are supposed to act when there's other fans around. And that's kind of why we get that same treatment when we go to other people's stadiums, because they feel we're coming in there with a reputation, so they got to act tough to protect their home. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is fake as well. It's just dudes. This is the only time they get to go out, on a weekly basis and be rowdy, and they do it because it's what we're supposed to be. It's what the media has built us up to be. A lot of people go to Philly games and have a good time. Nobody's trying to kill you or anything like that.
No, it's funny though, because sports is one of the only places where it's like that, right? Philadelphia as a city is still relatively segregated.
Right. But there was no racism in the city all day yesterday. White people, black people hugging.
There's no white on white crime, no black on black crime. Like cats is nice to each other. You got cats in different blocks and be beefing. They squash they beef.
And nobody was doing anything. But Jim, yesterday could have been one of those. Y'all remember the third Die Hard movie with Sam Jackson, and they were doing all that stuff with the dump trucks, and McClane figured out everything's going on here down at the the joint that they blew up.
Target these banks all over there.
Yeah, and he's like, yo, there's no police presence anywhere in the city, so they're trying to lure us down to this one. That's how it was. Like, you could have done anything crazy yesterday in Philadelphia.
I said that in our group chat.
It was
like,
just such a happy time.
Somebody getting their house ran in, like, it's going to be buck wild.
Somebody getting grunked.
Yo, I was
right now.
I was in the hood of North Philly yesterday, looking at some property. I was standing outside. Shout out to the brother Kahan from Central. He was with me. Yo, this boy rode down the street. Now, this is the hood. We in the hood. Like, with his doors open on this minivan, blasting the Eagles fight song. And any other time, like, that happened, like, yo, people would have been looking at him, possibly even shot at him. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, that fight song is like music from the 30s.
Yo, but you see Stone Cold gangsters on the street start singing with it. I'm like, yo.
I'm a diehard Philly fan. Y'all know that, but if I hear that damn song one more time.
I know the Redskins got a fight song, which was immortalized by the brother B. Austin.
They don't get to play it a lot, though. They don't get to play it a lot, but.
Are the Eagles and Redskins the only one with a fight song? Like, that's some collegiate-ish.
No, if you look back, all the teams, like those teams that started back in like the 30s, they all have one. Like the Packers have one, the Eagles have one, Washington has one. Then you look when teams, because that was a thing back then, whether you were a college or pro team or whatever.
Yo, I've never heard the Packers
teams
fight
that started
song,
coming in the 60s, they were like, we're a professional team. There's no damn fight song.
I've never heard the Packers fight song, B.
Dude, because I don't think they don't play it much. But I had this conversation earlier in the week, and I started looking them up. And, yeah, it's like and the pattern that I noticed was that teams that span from original teams to, like,
so that got to be
30s,
like, that means
40s.
The Bears must have one, too, then.
The Bears probably got one. I'll look it up. But somebody kept running off teams to me. They were like, Chiefs. I was like, no, Chiefs didn't come to 1960. I looked it up. They didn't have one. Raiders, they didn't have one. But because somebody tried to theorize that it was like an East Coast thing. I was like, no, it's not an East Coast thing. Because, some Midwestern teams, some of them old teams had them.
It's an old AF thing. It's an old.
It is. That's all. That's what it is. It's just if you old as hell and you played in fields that look like Franklin Field, then you probably got a fight song.
Yeah, but it's interesting, man. And one last thing I want to say is that I'm listening and just hearing you guys' perspective because I didn't watch, but at the same time, man, y'all being way too nice to the brother Fred, man. Fred, I got nothing but love for you, man. But they taking it easy on you, man.
You know what though?
Oh, and I appreciate it too because they could the way
they being way too humble, giving the papers all these props. I'm like, yo, let y'all hands go. Stop telling them they the best and we.
But I've been letting my hands go all week on everybody else, so Fred just came along at a good time. Like I've been letting him go all
so
week.
basically, Jimmy wants me. Jimmy wants
I let
me
my
to
hands
come
go
out
on
the
NFC
woodwork.
East fans, maybe minus Giants fans because they the only ones that still got room to even say anything. But now that we have a shiny new ring, I'm not taking any talk about no rings from when dudes was in middle school, elementary school. Jones that got done in the mold. I ain't taking that.
The bottom line is
it's been corny, but now I can even say, all right, that's corny. We got a shiny.
If there's nobody on your roster that has helped you win a ring, you can't talk about that ring.
Dog, if it's nobody in your roster that's
in your organization,
in the league. To me,
the league, they got a different commissioner. Jimmy's right. The league ain't even the same. Like, a different person signs the footballs. Like, nobody's trying to hear that. Like, nobody's trying to hear that.
The whole stereotype of Philadelphia fans comes down to white supremacy, man. Because until someone of that hue confirms what you are as a city, until somebody of that hue confirms what you are or what you aren't as a city, then people just run with the stereotype. Now, as you say, the renaissance of the city is happening, which is code for gentrification. Once that's done happening and those folks get tired of wearing that label, then the reputation of Philadelphia sports fans will change. But for now, it's fun for the 1%ers to come in from, Ardmore and what happened and whatnot and come in and act a certain way and have fun with it for a day, and then go back to their miserable, rich lives. So,
yeah. No, I understand completely what you're saying there. But I'm just talking about like in terms of that whole championship thing. I always thought that was corny.
It's bad corny.
It's just relatively corny because basically people make sports in general corny with that. Like the whole it even permeates into the NBA when it's all about titles. Like I was having a conversation last night in our group chat with Phil, and he talking about, well, this team didn't win a championship, so they ain't no good. And they ain't win a championship. Shout out to Phil. I know you listen, or you can listen on the replay. And I was like, so you trying to tell me the Buffalo Bills on a legendary team, they ain't win? I'm like, so? Like,
I mean, there are more legendary. I would.
And for me, we
there
actually
are more legendary players than there are that have not won rings than there are legendary players with a ring. So I hate that. I agree with you. I hate that argument.
That's true too. But listen, for me, like I look at it in a way like Jimmy said, it's definitely a corny thing to do that. Like I don't believe it in myself. Jimmy and I are diehard, Phillies fans, right? They have 10 years. Damn, time flies, but 10 years ago they won the World Series. I don't know if me and Jimmy has brought that up to anybody in a sports argument in the last 7 to 8 years.
Because the team stinks.
In the last 7 to 8 years, I don't think we've brought that up to anybody.
Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a real buck, though. It's only
why
really
would
one
we?
franchise that does that. The only franchise that does that for real, are Cowboys fans. It's like you got other teams that win the championship. Ravens fans don't say, "Look how many chips we got." You know what I mean? Like,
no. That's a bad example. That part.
Washington fans do. I had a Washington fan talk to me this week after we won.
No, Giants fans do it too. So it's an NFC East thing.
The Cowboys.
It's definitely. Well, it's a Philly thing. It's a when you're talking the Philly fans thing. That's what it is. They don't do that amongst each other. I had a Washington fan tell me this week, since that joke is over, well, y'all only got one. Dude, really? And this brother is no older than 32 years old. So I'm like, look, the last time your team won, Fife was still, Tip was still asking Fife, was he on point? You were probably in, late elementary to middle school? Like, you might not even have been able to stay up to watch that whole game. Like, I don't want to hear that. And I told him this exact same thing. If this is the only championship the Eagles win, for the next 40 years, if it's 2040 and my son, who is 6 years old right now, is out, if I hear him in a conversation bragging, talking about we got more chips than you because we won one back when I was 6, I'm going to be the first one to tell him to shut the hell up. Like, you sound stupid. Like seriously, really? Like, they want to join when you were 6, you 30 now, and you talking about because this team don't have none.
For us, that's man law.
I don't know, because
that needs to come down as man law. And I was going to say the example is bad. The Cowboys is a great example, Jimmy, but the Pittsburgh Steelers have just as many rings, if not more. And I don't ever hear their fans brag about it.
Yeah.
They don't do that unless they're in a conversation where they hear a Cowboy fan talking silly.
It takes it. You have to go.
Right.
But I mean,
it's kind of like not really in defense of the Philly fan that's getting kicked in the head, but just to let you know, oh, you're talking like that, like
And I don't know whether
we have some recent
Patriots. I don't know whether Patriots fans do that because most of the Patriots fans are Donald Trump voters. So it's just not a demographic that I
Patriots fans just cocky as a mug. Y'all just arrogant.
That's no slander, but the black Patriots fans are few and far between. Like that's definitely the MAGA boy team. Like,
there would have been no talk. If they would have won the Super Bowl, Donald Trump would have made it a national holiday, and there would have been no talk. Players not going to the White House.
Dog, why you think the stock market? Why you think the stock market is off a cliff all week?
We know what's going on. I mean, but like Dev, like how you say these like people, if your son was to try to claim this championship, I don't know because I was 11. I was 12 when the Patriots won their Super Bowl.
We think the same thing.
He's 6 though, Fred. I fully understood sports. I understood X's and O's at 12, and I'm sure you did too. He's 6. Like I was his age when the Sixers won. I remember it, because my dad is the person who introduced me into this ravenous, Philly fanhood. So I was there. I remember him running around the house and with a broom screaming sweep when they beat the Lakers. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I'm not saying that he can't claim it. He was alive. This is the first Super Bowl he actually watched the whole game. He can claim it. I just don't want – I'm just saying 30 years from now, if it's the only one we got,
Fred,
and
there's
there's a team out there who still hasn't won one, Fred, he ain't going to be like, oh, we got a chip. You was 6, and that was 30 years ago, and we ain't won one since.
Fred,
that's what Cowboys fans sound like
Fred,
right
that's
now.
Corny, Fred. That's corny, yo. Like, we don't do that. Like,
it's not about claiming it. It's about bragging on it 30 years later if it was the last thing you
corny,
did.
man. Like Dev said, yo, the 08 Phillies, like, we ain't talked about that since 09.
Yeah, we ain't talked about them in at least 6 years. Because for the 2 years afterwards, we were still good and still in contention. After that, dog, it's not even worth bringing up. Like, for who, for what? It was a happy time, but it's over.
Fred, I'm going to keep it a buck, Fred. When the Broncos won the bowl, I only used that to talk trash to you. Outside of you, it was over with. Like, we stunk right after that.
Well, that's because Jimmy was moving into his I don't mess with sports phase.
Yeah.
No. See,
like for me,
because I watched that
once this defense is over,
night out.
if the Eagles don't make the playoffs or if they make the playoffs and lose, once they do that, this is over. We got to go get another one. We love y'all.
That's my thing.
Y'all can got free cheesesteaks for them dudes every day for the rest of their lives in Philly, but it's not like something to brag about.
Austin, here's the thing. After the Broncos won, that's when Peyton left, and we were quarterbackless, and we stunk the very next year. Like, so what am I going to brag about other than to throw in Fred's face that, like, we smacked them? Like, that's the only thing I pretty much used it for. Outside of that, the team was ass.
Yo, you did.
And you knew they was about to be ass. It's not like it wasn't a surprise. Like, damn, the Broncos fell off this year. Like, yo, they don't have a quarterback.
I don't know
They're going
what that's
to
like because I've never gone through. I've seen very minimal non-playoff seasons. I mean, even dating back to
you're a bandwagon Patriots fan.
But you gotta understand, your Patriots aren't that great a team either, though. Like, I'm older than you, Fred, so I know the Patriots is really ass. Y'all having a good run now because of Brady and Belichick. But here's the great thing. Here's the great thing.
I'm going to keep it a bean.
Now that we're connected,
hold on, Jimmy.
They're going to leave, and you want to deal with them leaving.
You're going to relate to this. Dog, we are men of a certain age. We still young, at least in our own minds, but we old enough to remember when you got the Fleer football card and there was a Patriot in it, you just threw that football card away.
Absolutely.
See, for me,
I'm gonna give them their props. This is all I'm gonna give them their props on because it wasn't sustained, consistent success, but the Patriots have appeared in a Super Bowl every decade going back to the 80s. But it was once in the 80s, and it wasn't just the Super Bowl. Like around that time, that was the only time they got good. And when they get good, they make the Super Bowl. And then the tuna came and they got in the Super Bowl and lost. And then now with Brady and Belichick,
they're still being nice. Jimmy,
Jimmy and I talked about this before because we talk about other teams like this, and when he says that about the Patriots, I always throw that in there. Like I'm at least give him props for that. But his theory is correct though. There's a lot of teams out there that's just having runs. And like
Irving
Pryor, Bulls is Jimmy's best example. The Chicago
I
Bulls.
absolutely remember that, and they got Me Too. They weren't even supposed to. Like they were so outclassed in that bowl. Like they literally.
The Fridge scored. They were playing with them dudes.
Touchdown on y'all, dog. And then y'all got Me Too so bad they went and made a song right afterwards. They spit bars on y'all. Like, yo, they was writing lyrics on the sideline. That wasn't even like so. It's like y'all had that.
I think Jimmy's theory is spot on, and I think when he used it with the Chicago Bulls, that's the best example ever. Because what have they been before and after the 10 years when Michael Jordan and them were dominating? They ain't been nothing.
Yo, they're the worst. Like in Austin again, because you're gonna stop saying I don't like sports. I watch basketball every night. The Chicago Bulls are so bad. Like, yo, they are so bad that it's like, yo, it's embarrassing. Like.
And their record is actually better than their roster. At the beginning of the season, them dudes needed name tags, dog. They didn't know who themselves were.
I do know that they're so bad that the entire roster only makes $10.76 an hour combined.
Dog, their starting five makes less than Russell Westbrook.
combined.
And
That's
Westbrook's
what
not
they
the highest paid player either.
All right, let's because I know we got a call about the Super Bowl. But so let's wrap that up with the calls because we got to move on to some of this basketball we're talking about. We got Rob on the line from Cali. He's a happy Eagles fan. He's been waiting for a minute, so let's talk to him. Rob, what's going on, man? How you doing,
apologize
champion?
first. I need another apology.
He apologized on social media again.
Hold on.
He apologized to Nick Foles. He actually said he might name his son after Nick Foles, and he said he wouldn't trade Nick Foles for Cleveland's next three. Listen, he said he wouldn't trade Nick Foles for Cleveland's next 3 first-round draft picks. And I gave Rob my man from
trade Nick Foles right now.
I gave him the Wire. What's your man name, Jimmy, from the Wire?
Clay Davis.
I'll take all 3 of those. I take all 3 of those.
I'd trade Nick Foles for one of their picks. It ain't got to be 3.
Hey, Rob.
Like
Rob.
you tripping.
Rob, what
You go from hating the ball to I wouldn't trade him for the world.
First of all, I'm gonna say one thing. Apologize to each and every one of y'all, except for Fred Poo Poo. You know what I'm saying? There's your boy Big Rob, a.k.a.
Jimmy, you don't need us because Rob gonna let his hands loose.
Let your hands go, Rob.
There's your boy Big Rob, a.k.a. Move brother up with your baby mother. There's a boy Big Rob, a.k.a. Yo, if I had Pinky, Cherokee, Melrose Fox, and Christy Mack, I still would not have the best excitement I had on February 5th, baby. What's good?
What's good, Rob? And real quick, because I know, after this call, we're going to wrap this up. I just wanted to tell everybody about the parade because I did spend yesterday partying on the Parkway in Philly with like 1 million or 2 of my closest friends. It was definitely a lit time. What they did, they had, since everybody comes to parades early to get good spots, they had video boards all along the parade route, and they were showing a replay of the game. So that was what they did to pass the time before the joint started. Then when they finished the game, the parade actually started, but it started way back at the stadium. So if you were on the Parkway like myself, you still had to wait till basically another 2 hours for them to drive 2 miles an hour so everybody sees you all the way down Broad Street to the Parkway. So what they did then, they had speakers lined up along the joint too, just like the video board. So they had a DJ who was killing it. So even though it was cold outside, everybody was moving, and they just didn't leave you standing around, thinking about how long you're standing there and freezing to death. So it was a party, man. It was just people dancing in the streets. You had the crazy people that we talked about earlier climbing up on poles and damn near breaking street lights, not on purpose, but just because they're climbing on them. There were people in trees. I'm going to show y'all photos of how high people were climbing trees, and none of them were black people. So, y'all, that whole monkey thing that y'all be talking about, who's the monkey now?
No H&M? No H&M?
Yo, and that's the thing, because I'm not home that much, so you have to be there in a crowd like that to understand how much Philly actually loves Meek Mill. When his song come on, especially Dreams and Nightmares, the whole crowd, they just go crazy.
Listen,
people be in front of their phones, Jim, making like music videos.
Much money. He missed out on so much money.
Boy sat in jail and cha-ching because the Eagles went to the Super Bowl and used his song to come out to, first of all. His song was like one of the final songs they played at the parade. It was just a party in the streets, and I was glad to be a part of it. The fact, my thought would be, okay, it happened once. If the Eagles do go on this run that the people on the radio up there think they're going to go on, I'm not really trying to do that again. But I didn't take my son this time. So, you're standing out there all day. Boy probably would have had to pee like 16 times, and I ain't had time for that. So maybe they can do it when he gets a little older, and I'll do it one more time. But I had the experience, and I'm cool. It's too many people, yo. I'm cool.
Yeah.
So, Rob, real quick, give us your thoughts because we got to move on to some other topics, man.
Especially in like 2018, I'm definitely scared of crowds these days. Like I got tickets to see like the Black Panther on like the night before opening night, and part of me like is scared to go because I know that all us black people
they trying to line y'all up all in one place.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Trying to kill y'all.
That's why,
at one
like
time?
Jimmy and I, we going on our annual War Room retreat with a bunch of people up in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? In like Hickville, and everybody wants to go see the movie while we're there. And I'm like, y'all can do what y'all want, but I'm cool. I am not getting lined up in some KKK theater because you know wherever it's playing, it's going to be the only place it's playing, and the only people going to be in there is going to be black people.
You
so
ain't never
like, that's why
I said, yo, I'm gonna see it before the trip. Like I got tickets to like Thursday night. It's wrong. And I'm still nervous.
Got them all in one place. Drop the bomb. Lock the doors. Lock the doors.
Way too well. You do that way too. And I'm from the South, and you do that way too well.
Hey, man, I'm well traveled, man. I've heard all the accents there is to hear.
Yo, I'm taking the blicky with me to see Black Panther, yo. Just in case.
Be like, I will not be a victim. I will not. I'm at the fight for my life before you kill me.
That lone wolf who's just a little bit disturbed, didn't get enough love. He's coming in the theater.
Right. Mental issues, mental health.
Not that he's terrorist. He could be that.
Yeah.
Just a lone wolf.
Just mental health with a neck that's kind of red. All right, so Rob, I'm sorry we took over your whole call, man. Just give us your thoughts. I got to be quick because we got to move on. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the NBA this week.
Let them know, Rob.
What's your thoughts, man? How's it feel to be a champion? Let us know.
Oh man, it is unbelievable. It's like,
Yeah. You get extra
like
respect over there because when I was over there, Rob, there's a lot of Eagles fans there. They took over the Rams Stadium. There was a lot of Eagles fans there. But listen, when you wear your Eagles gear this week, you get extra respect, extra yams. Like what? What you get this extra?
Extra yams. But actually, I was watching the game, yo. This white chick kept jumping in my arms, man. Man. Yo.
Oh, don't do it, Rob. Rob, don't fall for it, Rob. No swirl. But hold on, though, Rob. I want to tell you something real quick. I'm gonna give you my quick perspective because, everybody knows my situation, right?
But cream in my coffee. But
Rob, you got a reputation, man. I'm gonna tell you how I know you got a reputation, man. Like people were hitting me the day after the game, like, yo, Rob better call in, like all the trash he talking about. I mean, Kat said I didn't even know that, like, I guess they know you from Facebook or calling the show.
Famous, Rob. We done made you famous.
Yo, Kat was hitting me up like, oh, what Rob got to say about the quarterback now? He killed him, like, Kat was trying to take your head off.
Right, War Room like Billy the Kid, man. I make you famous.
You know what? You're
a national star, homie. The angry fans, they know you.
Y'all national media organization, but I wanna say first of all, because I gotta talk to Beyonce. I want to ask Beyonce a question, probably message because I got asked about the defensive backs and how they play, but if the coaching.
And B just banged on Covington.
Coaching
sound weird, but he did.
Coaching matters, and it still matters. Coaching still matters. I think people think that quarterbacks can come out of the box, play good. I saw a guy who I thought just had nothing left, but Doug Peterson, the quarterback coach, and Carson Wentz, who is going to be a future Hall of Famer, just.
Dang, you went there. We just got Dawkins after like 3 tries. He like a future Hall of Famer.
I'm the one that goes a little too far.
I feel you, Rob. I feel you.
Wait, not for that.
Let him earn a call. Hey, can he earn a Super Bowl ring first before we call him a Hall of Famer? Can he get his own first?
Hey, don't crap on Carson. He put us in the position to get the number 1 seed. He earned it.
The power of this. I mean, and also this is probably one of the best teams I ever see. This has, and I know I'm going over the head, But
Yeah,
as a football team, as a 53 or 55-man team, this is how there's no excuses anymore. Nobody can make excuses about injuries, about anybody, about losing your franchise quarterback. This is probably, other than the Miami Dolphins, the undefeated Miami Dolphins, this is one of the best Super Bowl teams
You actually
ever.
you selling the team short by just mentioning the quarterback. They lost their franchise quarterback. They lost who was their best running back at the time. They lost a Hall of Fame caliber left tackle. They lost their best linebacker. They lost their best special teams player.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. We already know. I mean, this underdog. I mean, and by the way, you asked me about my Eagles gear. I get from Eagles fans. I think California, and this is actually I throw some shade. Like, I think fans out here are so fair weather because a couple people looked at me and said, "You just bought that." I'm like, ish. The summer point ain't playing a team anymore. Like, what are you talking about? You on Molly? Like, come on now. It's like people.
I know how that is, but that's the thing. People don't notice what you wear until the team that's on it wins something. Like, I have this example. Y'all probably said it on the air before, but Jimmy and B know. Like, I went, we did some work. I covered a game or something in what's it called? Golden State out in Oakland one time. Got a T-shirt. 2009. Steph wasn't there. Draymond wasn't there. Clay, nobody was there. The team stunk, basically. I got a T-shirt. I've been wearing that T-shirt a lot. Like, that was one of my go-to T-shirts because of how comfortable it was and how it fit. Wear this Golden State T-shirt all the time. Nobody ever said anything to me. Now that they're starting to win and they're like, a dynasty in the making, every time anybody sees me with it on, like, oh, you on the bandwagon now? I'm like, no, I'm not even a fan. But it's a nice T-shirt, and I've been wearing it since 2009. Yeah. And some of the people that say something to me have seen me wear it plenty of times before they decided to ask me if I was on the bandwagon. I'm like, I wear this T-shirt all the time. I'm like a bum in this T-shirt.
And you know what? It feels good to. I mean, some people cry, and you know what? And the tears for me came when, like, when the day of the game, and I saw it on social media that people were taking pictures. Like, one guy took a picture in Jerome Brown's grave and said, "We're going to win this one for him." And people understand.
Bringing it home for
Jerome Brown's birthday.
The crazy thing was it was on his birthday, but just like we were talking about how long you celebrate championships, like, we can no longer be bringing it home for Jerome because there ain't nobody in that organization who knew Jerome Brown. Like, nobody in that organization was around when Jerome was around. So Jerome probably said F them a long time ago. This one was not for Jerome Brown. Sorry to say, but
yeah, but just the fan base, and I mean, shout out to everybody, and also want to sports the people who've been doing it in different places like Event Status on social media, freaking Philadelphia, losing all those bets to the Falcons and drinking all those beers. You know what I'm saying? BDP 445, that moron.
Wait, yo, Rob, you can't be using the platform to big up these other. They got to cut the check, brother. We gotta shout out to Philadelphia.
I wasn't even listening to him. What he say?
Yeah, you can't be shouting out the enemy, man.
All right, but Rob, give us your final thoughts, man, because we gotta move on. We rap to you every week, so you can continue later, but. Final thoughts. Let me tell you, the parade was lit, and of course, your man Jason. Hold on, Rob. Jason Kelsey's speech is gonna go down in infamy. We don't have it on the soundboard, but everybody's probably heard it by now. But he let it fly on everybody who was doubting. So he's talking about you. He says a little something about you, and anybody else, fan or foe, that had some doubts about the team. He let them have it on the podium yesterday. Even the organization, he talked about how they took Howie Power away, and he came out 2 years later a different man. Nobody was safe. But all right, now I'm gonna let you. Final thoughts.
My final thoughts are, go actually, to Fred Poo Poo, GOATs don't lose. Michael Jordan never lost in the finals, buddy. And to Robert Mohead, Michael Jordan never lost in the finals.
He called him Mohead.
Joe Montana never lost a Super Bowl. So when you talk about GOAT,
I love that argument, that Michael Jordan argument. Except what happened before he started winning titles? Who did he lose to?
He grew up.
Okay, never mind.
He grew up and had the growing pains of getting there. See, but no, Fred, you can't even say that because that was a time when everything wasn't so easy. You can't just join up with your friends and go beat everybody. He had to work past everybody who was whooping his ass, and then that's not. People say that like it's not honorable that Mike lost in the playoffs before he got to the finals. That's how it went back then.
No, but
you had to battle until your term was up.
But people
and
also
then he got it and never relinquished it.
People also try to act like Mike never lost. Like they say, they use the finals.
No, they only use the finals when they talk about that argument.
The thing is, final series.
But
what I'm
happened
saying
before?
is, it was at a time when the Eastern Conference had the best teams. Like, so sometimes if your conference is better than the other conference, like they would have won regardless. If the Pistons made the championship, they would have won. But he had to get past the Pistons. But at the same time, when those Pistons and Celtics teams were at their peak, he was losing.
Well, yeah, but he was young and that team wasn't at his peak. So that argument is flawed too. His team wasn't at his peak. He had to wait his turn just like them. The Pistons couldn't beat the Celtics, and then they finally got through, and then the Bulls couldn't beat the Pistons, then they finally got through, and then nobody could beat the Bulls, and then them dudes left. Like, that's how it went back then.
Jack and Penny did beat them, though.
Oh,
yeah. Without
Also, I don't want to hear about no controversial catch. It was a catch. The Patriots only had one penalty against them. I don't want to hear that. Thank you, B. Austin, for saying Belichick. I will use that word forever. Okay?
It wasn't a lot of penalties, though, so nobody could even be on some, Patriots didn't have no penalties. Nobody had penalties that game.
And I'm the same person that
fairly clean game.
That was a catch. I mean, I'm not seeing what your point is there, because, I mean, everybody
got away with some stuff.
My point is, take this
like
L.
on the Philly special, that was definitely an illegal formation.
Hey, Fred, teach me how to Dougie.
I'll teach you how to lose next year. I'll teach you how to lose.
All right, Rob, we holler at you. We holler at you next week, man. I'll let you get off on a high note, man.
Philly
He told you to teach him how to Dougie.
LA, but don't call me the Fresh Prince. Peace.
All right, peace.
Teach me how to Dougie.
Hey, can somebody screen team that Ford, Joe? We need a screen team in the building. While somebody's doing that, listen, Jimmy Garoppolo got broken off. He's right now the highest paid player ever in football until Kirk Cousins gets his deal.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, until Kirk gets his deal. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. I'm just laugh about it because these are just the times we live in, man. 7 games, 7 wins. My man got $137 million. Fred, is it set? Because I heard 2 guarantees. I heard like 73, and then I heard like 90 guaranteed.
That's
which
still
is the
going rate for quarterbacks. I mean, Matt Ryan's going to get another contract like that too. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to get a ridiculous contract at some point.
Yeah,
I
but
feel based
there's
on,
a reason for Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan to get a ridiculous contract.
Matt Ryan,
like, this is somebody you're flying on a wing and a prayer right now. Like, yo, I hope this dude is good because we just backed the Brinks truck up to his house after 7 starts. Remember Matt Flynn? Yeah, he looked damn good in limited starts. Matt Flynn had a rookie 3rd rounder come in, and he never even got to play for his money. It's crazy.
I feel like it is the going rate. It is a little crazy. My question is, if Jimmy Garoppolo is worth this, then they need to triple that for the man that's up there in Cheesehead land. Like Aaron Rodgers needs to get $350 million with
get a baseball
guarantee. Yeah, he needs a baseball contract. I think that the guarantee is about $74 million. I don't think it's 90. I think it's 74 guaranteed. That's a lot of money for a guy who, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm impressed with 7 games, but what's 7 games? I mean, when you look just at 7 games, you could say Robert Griffin, the Cornball brother, was impressive for 7 games. So what you know, you can be a bust and have a string of good games. But we've seen this before. Mike Vick was able to fleece 2 teams for $100 million.
No, and the thing is, the people who really don't like it, they keep juxtaposing Garoppolo's numbers against, you know, the last few games for what's his name, Kaepernick, and you know they're like, oh, so he getting $137 million for putting up Kaepernick numbers. At the same time, I'm like, okay, that's not really fair either, because this dude is in the first 7 games of his career. You know, Kaepernick's putting up those numbers. He's a veteran. So, you know, if that's all he's doing versus somebody who's played 7 games, then the comparison isn't really fair. Like, let's not keep acting like Colin Kaepernick, even though he's my favorite athlete, my favorite football player of all time. Let's stop acting like he was really good on the football field.
Yeah.
But, so, you know, people always like to make a lot of unfair comparisons. But,
yeah, I just
shout out to him for trying.
I try and look at it in a vacuum. A, it is stupid money for an unproven commodity, but B, it is the times we live in. It is the market. And if you think what Jimmy Garoppolo got was crazy, where do they try and pay mediocre Kirk Cousins? Because mediocre Kirk Cousins put some numbers up.
Yeah, I know, right? These days, he got something to lean on. But these days, it seems like, man, sometimes it might be better to be in this type of situation where you're a backup. You have limited starts on a good team, which most of the time means you're going to win the game. You can fool people into getting this kind of money. Like, it's crazy. Because think about it. If you were a high pick and you came out and you had to prove yourself right away, those are dudes that played themselves out of the league, a la Robert Griffin III. He done played himself out of the league, whereas Garoppolo been sitting on the bench for a few years and just, I can't even say played himself into a $137 million contract. All you had to do is go to San Francisco, win a couple of games for a team who hadn't won any games, and they sold.
Fred, what do you think? Because you should have a unique perspective on all of this. What do you think about the guy that made Tom Terrific uncomfortable? What do you think about it?
I believe, and you guys
might be something to it.
Get ready to kill me for this one. You can kill me for this one, but I'm in Belichick's corner on this one. I mean, I'm of the belief.
No, I wouldn't kill you. I wouldn't kill you for it.
But that's the Patriot way, and it's always been a good way. Dudes get old, you gotta go. Tom Brady included.
Thanks for 5 Super Bowl rings, but we can't pay you. And don't get it twisted. Tom Brady's my favorite quarterback currently.
Right.
I think
no matter what.
I wouldn't want to disrespect him. Yeah. I wouldn't want to disrespect Tom Brady, and I wouldn't want to like just cut ties with him on some quick stuff. But I don't feel your position is wrong at all. Listen, we're all better GMs than some of the GMs in professional football and professional sports. Like I am, and I'm sure Dev and Jimmy, you feel this way. We're all better than Bruce Allen, and Bruce Allen been getting paid for years to be a GM. But I feel like, I would have tried to keep Garoppolo. I feel Bill Belichick.
Bruce Allen just gave up his best up-and-coming defensive player to make a lateral move at quarterback.
He even started. I feel like I would have tried to keep Garoppolo, and I think that Tom Brady conspired with Robert Kraft and went and said, "Daddy, he made."
That's pretty much how it went. That's pretty much how it went. Yeah.
That's corny.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I look at it as, at some point, you say, Brady, you got to go. I mean, you're 41 when the season starts again. And your 41-year-old body's going to break down at some point.
And that's going to be the same for
the situation all over again. And
that's what I told somebody the other day. When Tom Brady if he gets a serious injury,
it's over.
At 41, 42, you're not going to want to rehab that and come back. It's going to be over.
Alex Guerrero can't
and then you're going to be like, damn, we should have kept Garoppolo. and they, everybody who was, on the side of no, Brady still got it.
Listen,
They're not looking at the fact that
too nice to
bodies
Fred,
change, man.
Just tell Fred everything's about to unravel. Next season is over. It's over with.
I don't care how much wild salmon Tom eats. Like 40-year-old bodies are different.
Yo, it's old. It's over with.
It don't matter
dog.
how much pliable
Fred,
you
he's
are.
too nice to you, man.
Yo, from a spiritual standpoint, yo, the fact that they wanted to go to the White House and they probably will go to the White House as losers, yo, the Patriots got to end, man. The Patriots dynasty got to end. That's what Jimmy wants to say to you.
All right, we're gonna move on because we got
Tobias,
a couple
Tobias
of more.
is hitting us on the group chat.
I see him on the switchboard. He not next up though. We're gonna go to a couple more calls and we're gonna go straight into the NBA trade deadline. Right before we do that, I just got to give the stat of the week. And the stat of the week, it's Super Bowl related, and it's also the Eagles getting that monkey off their back because the NFC East is now the only division in the NFL where all 4 teams have won the Super Bowl. So thanks to the Eagles for welcoming the division to the party. All right, let's go to the phone lines. We got Casey Mack holding. Casey Mack.
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on, good brother?
Congratulations.
Nothing, man. You know it's a joyous day in the land of brotherly love, a joyous week.
Hey, hey, man, where 2 teams can learn from men of one team. I tell you one thing.
Like that. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. People just don't understand the struggle, man. I try to tell them, Casey Mack, because the narrative that they keep showing on TV is the little crazy, Richard heads that's out there breaking windows and knocking down an awning. Even though it was limited stuff, if you keep looping the same thing, the gullible people are going to think, oh, they're destroying that city. I had a Pittsburgh fan, Jim, tell me that we destroyed the city.
They're not showing that at all. Like, I haven't, the way you're talking about it being shown, they're not showing
not
that
up
at
there.
all.
Yeah, everywhere else. Jim, but I had somebody, a woman who's a Pittsburgh fan, say to me, man, they tore that city up, man. Those people are crazy. Yo, Pittsburgh is on a list. Y'all can Google an article of, the 10 worst sports riots of all time. Pittsburgh is on that list twice for destroying their city, after a championship. What are you talking about? But anyway, what's on your mind, Casey Mack?
I just want to thank Jeffrey Lurie, that's y'all owner, for fleecing the Kansas City Chiefs by taking Peterson away from us and taking Foles away from us and turning them to a Super Bowl quarterback and Super Bowl coach while y'all leave us Fat Boy Andy. Thank you. Much appreciated.
I wasn't sure where he was going with that because I wasn't sure which team he was talking about. I'm like, Foles and them. I was thinking Foles and Peterson was with Cowboys.
Nah,
you're talking about the Chiefs.
Hey man,
he really is KC Mack today. He's like, I ain't claiming the Cowboys because somebody in the division won a championship.
Like I said, I learned from the Foles. I sit there and listen to y'all.
Alshon Jeffrey hairline jacked up.
45 years I've been waiting for a Super Bowl. They won in 1970. I can't claim that. I don't remember Len Dawson in the uniform. Len Dawson, I know, is a sportscaster on Channel 9 News.
Len Dawson is inside the NFL, HBO back in the day.
Yeah, so when y'all win y'all Super Bowl, I sat there and I sat there and thought damn, Hey, I guess what really got me is when y'all had that meme of the guy on Instagram telling everybody to F off because you finally y'all can kiss his butt and tongue to wherever because he finally got a Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, I feel y'all, man. I'm happy for y'all. Ain't no hate, even though I root for the Cowboys down here. Ain't no hate. I'm glad you got your chip, man. And one of these days,
thank you, good brother.
I will live to see mine. But I'm happy for y'all. And if y'all got to tear up the city a little bit, hell, y'all got insurance. It's well deserved.
I mean, because I didn't know what yesterday was going to entail, so I did tell a couple people, if you see me on the news throwing a trash can through a window, don't judge me. It's just, the moment might get, it might strike me, but, I was cool. I actually didn't even litter. I walked down the street with an empty bottle for an hour and a half and threw it in the trash, and people were telling me how good of a person I was. Because if you just look down after the parade, whoever has to clean that up, if I'm them, I would have quit yesterday. before I got to go.
And you know, I like how humble y'all are. Y'all are real humble. Philly gonna be back. Y'all got a right squad. And y'all main guy ain't play yet.
KC, I can accept someone saying we will be contenders. There's a strong possibility that we will be serious contenders over the next 2 or 3 seasons, and that's a fair assessment of the talent, the youth, and the coaching. But to say that we will absolutely be back in the Super Bowl, man,
you can't even take that for granted.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, the hardest.
Only people that can take that for granted is Patriot fans.
Hey, the hardest one to do is to win the first chip.
That's why they so cocky.
Y'all won your first chip. Now.
Man,
hey,
tell that to the Phillies and tell that to the Sixers from '82.
I know. Tell that to the Phillies, who had a better team the 2 years after they won the championship and couldn't win it.
But,
we take it one at a time, man. We Philly fans, man. We're not used to this. For the last 3 days, I don't even know how to be a winner.
Well, enjoy it for the next 4 or 5 months. Y'all, it's well deserved. I'm happy for y'all.
All right, man. Good looking out. Thanks for your call, and we will holler at you next week. Call in next week. All right, you too.
All right, peace.
All right. Man, we gotta get to this trade deadline. The phone line's blowing up. All right, we gotta make these calls quick. Tobias, what's going on, good brother?
Roll damn Tide, gentlemen.
Roll damn Tide and roll damn birds with them.
Hey,
what's going on?
Remember I said before the Super Bowl, the key to it was the Eagles being aggressive and not bowing at the altar of Tom Brady, saying, "Hey, Tom, we're happy to be here. We're happy to share the same field with you. You know, if you're gonna lose, you lose swinging."
And I said the keys to the game was our quarterback had to be a better wide receiver than their quarterback, and I was right.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? And I got to piggyback on B. Austin for a second. I am a better GM than Tampa Bay GM Jason Light. I'm a better GM, and I could probably be a better coach than that clown Dirk Cutter. But here's the thing. Y'all talk about the trade deadline. Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, the LeBron sexuals, they say, "Oh, my God, this is great." And we know once the playoffs start, "Oh, LeBron has no help. They can't do anything." But here's the thing with LeBron. I don't believe he plays well with superstars because the way he dominates the ball, the way he plays, he is best.
No, it's not. It's not superstars. It's just he doesn't play well with other creators. People that need the ball, they have a hard time playing with dudes, man, because he has to have the ball 80% of the time.
And here's the thing. Dan Gilbert got killed. Well, they won't trade the Brooklyn pick. Okay, so wait, LeBron leaves him again? But, hey, guess what?
Right,
Nick
and
Wright,
then you have no chips left on the table when he roll out on you again.
And here go Nick Wright. You know, well, you don't find many impact players 7th pick. Well, what about Steph Curry, Kawhi Leonard, Klay Thompson, what's his name, Jimmy Butler, hell, even Donovan Mitchell. You can find good players. Sometimes they slip through the cracks. Hell, there's a lot of number 1 picks who are busts. So you just have to, but I'll say this, where I know you guys got to run. The Lakers, for example, you know, they the ones that open it up because Isaiah's going to be gone after this year. They got money for 2 max players. Even if they don't get LeBron and Paul George, maybe they can get their hands on Klay and the mute, like I told Jimmy, because Klay is leaving.
And the mute.
Kawhi may
mad
leave.
that all y'all call that boy the mute.
And you know what? And the thing is, they will be a good fit because the way Lonzo plays guard, and that they can move that ball. Because LeBron gets there, what Lonzo Ball going to do, stay in the corner? He can't shoot anyway. What he going to do? What you going to do, stay in the corner and have him getting away?
If LeBron is on that squad, Lonzo
got to go.
Bar father going to put a hit out. He's going to put a contract on him.
Yeah, but I know you guys got to run. I'm glad hey, congratulations to the Eagles. I still hate Dirk Cutter, and I still hate the GM because they get shiny wide outs and stuff, but don't address either offensive or defensive line. You got youth league teams that get more sacks than the Buccaneers. But anyway, hey, and also,
all right.
hey, I gotta say this real quick. You got a coach that won't even move. Try to confuse the defense. Hey, we're going to stand in cover 2 against Tom Brady, the best quarterback ever. We're not even going to try to confuse them. Man, these guys will go to hell. You guys will take it easy, man.
All right, man. Tobias, telling it like it is, as usual. All right, well, since he brought it up, you know, for the people out there who've been under a rock, Cleveland basically let their trade hands go yesterday before the trade deadline in the NBA. They made a few deals, and the team looks totally different than it did just 2 days ago.
48 hours.
Their first deal, they traded Isaiah Thomas and Channing Frye and their 2018 first round pick, not the Nets one, for Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. Then they traded George Hill and Rodney Hood came to the Cavs. Derrick Rose and Jay Crowder went to the Jazz. Joe Johnson, Amon Shumpert, and a 2020 second-round pick went to Sacramento. And they weren't done yet. They traded Dwayne Wade back to Miami for a protected second-round pick. All of this, the Dwayne Wade, we can get this out the way real quick. All of this does is tell me is D. Wade is close to calling it quits. So I'm pretty sure his request was they're going to get me out of here, get me back to Miami. Let's work that out so I can retire in the place where I'm still arguably the best player and greatest player in franchise history. I wouldn't say best. LeBron is probably the best, but we'll talk about greatness because he, the longevity, the titles that he won there, including the one without LeBron and Chris Bosh.
Him and Udonis Haslem are the Miami Heat.
You got Zoe in there too. Him, Zoe, and Haslam.
It ain't Ronnie Sykes.
A little bit of Ronnie. He on the starting five. and Chalmers.
Y'all 5 week?
Like now I'm just.
Yo, Miami all-time starting five is trash.
Then Sherman Douglas stay down there for a minute.
Bimbo Coles and Sherman Douglas.
Bimbo Coles, man.
Yo, y'all all-time five is ass buckets.
Bimbo
so what do y'all,
like
on paper, is Cleveland a better team than they were last week on paper when they were basically sinking out of the...
Yeah, they are, because now Jordan Clarkson is that guy that can come off and do, what Isaiah Thomas should be doing had he been healthy, reasonable, and not ego-driven, right? So that is...
But is that their issue, though?
Off the bench.
Was that their issue? Their issue is that they played no defense.
Like nobody on their
Larry Nance,
defense.
Larry Nance, and even George Hill addresses that. But how much, like when a Kevin Love comes back, how much is Larry Nance actually going to be in the rotation? They have to play him heavy minutes if you made this deal, right?
To answer your question, though, Dev, I think they are better because anything is better than what they were doing. Like, they were playing with no sense of urgency.
Horrendous.
Yo, they could have picked up us four, and they would have been better off. They just needed a change.
I'm gonna punch somebody as they going by, at least.
Yeah, they go. So I think they are better. I think they are better. Time will tell, but
Okay. All right. Now I say this then, because better. You look at how they were playing before. You can basically, hit them with the with the Groove Be Chill Joan. Like, all right, that ain't hard to be in here, but still, are they still the fact? Because for a lot of people, even though they were on that slide, there's a lot of us out here who basically like, all right, I have to see it to believe that Cleveland isn't going to be the ones coming out of the East. Do you guys still think? Because a lot of people might have, started to tone their beliefs down lately, and maybe think Boston, maybe think Toronto. With the team constructed as it is now, are they still better than those two teams?
No.
Because Boston did just add Greg Monroe to what they already had.
The way
I don't like Toronto at all. I don't believe in Toronto because they're not in the United States of America, so they don't deserve to go to any sort of championship.
Y'all talking at the same time. I can't hear you.
I know. Be awesome. Shut up. Yo. So what I was saying is, I don't believe in Toronto because they're not in the United States of America, so therefore they shouldn't be allowed to play for an NBA championship.
But Cleveland wasn't going to make the playoffs on their trajectory prior to this trade. I think this now puts them in.
Do you think they were going to let them slip that far?
Come on,
I mean, because like as of the start of tonight's action, the Sixers were like 4 games. They were like 4 games behind Cleveland, and they're 8th, and Cleveland was 3rd. So that logjam from 3rd to 8th, it could move easily. So
but they ain't gonna fall out of the playoffs.
I mean,
LeBron was.
I know you're looking at the trajectory on paper, and what the math cats would say. But did you believe they were going to fall out, or you thought they were going to get it together, even if they didn't make the move?
I didn't foresee them getting it together. The only credit that I could give them on that trajectory is the fact that they do have the best player in the world. The best player in the world. But the problem with
do you still believe that, or are you just saying that out of?
No, I believe he's the best.
Because a lot of
player
people
I don't
really do legitimately now think that Kevin Durant is better than him.
Nah,
I'm not saying it's me or anything like that.
Nah,
but,
he's the best.
You
kind
of seemed like you were beating the submission to even admit that at some point. Now that you have a chance to say something different, now you won't say it.
No. Listen. He's the best player in the world. But like we said many years ago, LeBron is a rare breed and animal. We've never seen a guy that's the best player in the world that doesn't have that will to claw forth and win. There's games now that he's playing in where if he had the will of certain other players, he would win those games single-handedly at 6'9", 270. He's not interested. He's got a lot of quit in him. And I saw dudes starting to quit on the season, quit on his team because them other dudes weren't balling.
But I think it's weird though, right? I think LeBron is also different than most of the superstars in our past because I think that LeBron legit doesn't care about the regular season. And Cleveland showed us that last year.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
Well, they legit.
No. I agree.
Care about it.
I agree. He doesn't care.
But be saying with the trajectory, he might want to care this time because they might fall out of the playoffs.
And I get what he's saying, but it would take so much for them to go from 3 to out of the playoffs. And I know that it's a log jam, but
Jimmy,
they still have to come back after the All-Star break. When they come back after the All-Star break, they have to play a bunch of sorry Eastern Conference teams. It took so much.
So they were basically just biding their time until the end of the break, Jim. Basically,
I really believe that. But I do think that
Orlando put their man part in Cleveland's ear. Orlando.
Yeah,
Orlando. They were up 21 on Orlando and lost by 18.
I don't think they care. But here's the thing, though. Here's what I can say. And when Rob was trying to make the point about the Eagles and being a team, the Eagles don't have a lot. The Cavaliers before this trade had a bunch of names. Now they have guys who are solid players that we know are solid players, but don't necessarily bring that that name with them.
So what you're saying is
George Hill is good.
The dude Kobe Altman actually took control this time and didn't let LeBron pick the players. So instead of getting names and big names and friends, super friends,
think about the names.
He actually put a team together around them.
Wade and guys who just have names they're MVP of the league, Finals MVP, the names they had. But now they have guys like George Hill, who's a solid pro.
Lunch pail.
On both sides of the
best guard on the Lakers, he was.
For some reason, I hate George Hill. I hate what his shoulders look like. But yeah, he's solid on both ends of the court.
Dwight Howard's mini-me.
Yeah, so they have guys now who are solid pros who contribute, to wins and not necessarily contribute to ticket sales, but they'll contribute to wins. So I think they're better off.
He doesn't care about the regular season, but I've never seen a superstar of his magnitude that's willing to quit in the face of adversity or not want to be the man.
He gonna get that point off. He gonna get that point off, regardless.
Listen though, before Dirk married a woman of African descent, I've seen him quit a couple of times.
Dirk is not on LeBron's level and never has been.
That's before. That's before.
If you're talking about that level,
that's before Dirk walked up in the arena with paper plates with foil over.
Before he had neck bones.
Yo, before he started getting like yams, and that's a double entendre. Y'all figure it out later. He had a couple, you know what I mean? But you talk about people on that level. There's only a couple people on that level. So, of course you're right. He didn't quit.
That's fine. That's who we talking about. Not Dirk Nowitzki. Shout out to him for being the greatest.
I'm just bringing up the superstar. Dirk's a superstar, right?
Nah. I mean, he was at one point.
What?
He was.
Yo, you do know Dirk is high up on a lot of important lists in the NBA history.
Yeah. He's been around for 30 years.
He
Yo,
was
I ain't
great.
gonna front though.
Nah, because he ain't doing nothing now to add to them totals.
But their legacy right now, they like now that Garnett and Duncan finally
because B done already forgot about Dirk, Jimmy. Like,
I know,
forgot about Dirk.
but I understand why. Because now that Garnett and
like
Duncan finally decided to go, now Vince and Dirk are on that list. Now they're at the top of that list. Where you gotta get out of here.
Vince is still playing basketball.
Yo, Vince still in the league, B. Yo, Vince
Dirk
older than
on
us.
that loyalty plan, man. That's why the Mavericks. That's why the Mavericks can't be that good, because your man being too loyal to Dirk. Like Dirk should.
We gotta go.
Hey, Dev,
Dirk gotta go.
This isn't even a joke. Yo, Vince is older than us. Anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy. Vince tried to dunk last week. He made it, but it was like a barely.
Thank you for joining us for the 400th briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, Facebook, Twitter. We couldn't get to you. We apologize. The Eagles won, so they had to let their hands go. Shout out to everybody, man. This has been an amazing show. I know that Dev and B often wear their entire lives for that, and I'm happy for my brothers, man. But listen, WarRoomSports.com. You find everything we do. Check for us at our regular time next week. It's pretty much NBA time. It's time for this thing of ours, so we'll be back in the mix. Like I said, everything we do is at WarRoomSports.com. You can catch our webcast, broadcast. You can cop the book, Sports to Book, at WarRoomSports.com. Everything, WarRoomSports.com. So until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. And we shall see you sometime.
War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop scholars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, PJ, Shot Bay, Lee Austin. I'm Josh. Up and coming on the beat.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.